Hello YouTube, SentinalhMC back again for more Let's Play.
Yeah.
We're back. We don't have Slent here with us because we couldn't get a hold of him, but it's me and the bro. We're back again.
Yeah.
I'm sick, but we're
So we're starting off with a
weathering the
bit
storm.
of a head start because
server
the server went down.
server just restarted, so we said
So
screw
we
it.
decided we're just gonna
This
start
is all we
recording.
did. We just dug some farm. That's literally it. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know
We
what?
didn't miss anything.
It's not worth the headache editing that, put that stuff up. So here we
Got
go.
an iron hoe now.
I heard that little clinky clink. Yeah, so here we are. I've been sick since Christmas. Not very fun.
I've only been sick today.
Well, that's better than over a week. Because I was sick before Christmas too, but then I got better enough to go to work on Monday. But then I got sick again on Christmas Day. Yeah. You hoe that.
What?
Hoe it good.
Wow.
Good at hoeing,
This
Nathan.
I didn't realize how big of a farm this would end up being.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of room for all of our croops.
Farm is huge.
Plenty of room for croops, Nathan.
Oh, I remember I said that I thought I got cocoa beans. I broke a pod on the side of a jungle tree, and I thought, hey, this is going to be cocoa beans. They're mana beans.
Oh yeah, you found some mana beans.
I wanted cocoa beans.
I really
so
don't
I
know
could
what
make
they're
chocolate.
for. I've never found a use for them so far.
I wanted cocoa beans so I could make chocolate. You can eat them.
I don't think that's the primary purpose of mana beans.
No, but you eat them to gain research.
What? So I don't
Ars
think that's the purpose of them.
Is Ars Magica in here?
What? No,
That's what they. Well.
No, it's from Thaumcraft, isn't it?
Oh, you gain research when you eat them.
Research.
At least
into what?
that's what. Just basic.
Oh, you might gain a random thing. I don't know. I have never bothered.
Mana beans. Mana beans.
I am processing our resources.
So now that the entire field is hoed, and then on the mini map is a really ugly rectangle of dirt.
All right.
I will start planting things.
Good. Production is up and running. We've got our grinder down here grinding our resources and our friction-powered furnace smelting them quickly.
I only plant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mustard.
I'm quite pleased.
5 cranberries. I'm gonna try to plant 5 of everything.
I'm quite pleased with how this is.
Oh, we're not gonna have enough space.
How this is progressing.
Sweet potatoes, tomatoes, turnips.
Okay.
We don't need any more mushrooms or squash.
One thing we need to do is we need to line the pipe with some sort of creeper. I was nowhere near that thing. Some sort of block, because if one of these pipes breaks randomly, it will flood the field and break everything unless I put some blocks here.
Well, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, that would be decidedly ungood.
I would be upset if that happened.
It would be double plus ungood, Nathan.
Yep.
I wonder if there are people who actually have learned to talk completely in Newspeak.
What?
Probably is.
I'm confused.
Newspeak, that's what that was. Don't you remember 1984?
What?
1984. You know, George Orwell.
I never read the book.
That was required reading in high school.
Not for me.
Oh, was it only my advanced world lit class?
Yeah.
It should be required reading.
We read. I think the only book in high school that we were required to read for English was To Kill a Mockingbird.
You didn't read The Lord of the Flies.
No.
In my advanced world lit class, we had to read Lord of the Flies. We had to read a book called The Poisonwood Bible, which was semi-depressing.
I heard about that book. I never read it.
And we read, I think I didn't think we read 1984 in that class. I thought we were at it in a different class, but apparently not if you didn't read it. Because you took the
No.
other... There was only one other language arts class.
Miss Shackle.
Okay, what
I'm
am
a
I
bit
doing here?
over the last few days I've been last week
I
actually
already have one.
I'm becoming more and more afraid for the youth of America. Um, well, I was at work and one of my friends, the guy at work, was like, there's asked me, he's like, what do you do for fun, man? He's like, you never go out with us. You don't go to bars. You sit at your house. What do you do for fun? I'm like, well, I like to read. And he's like, the fuck you mean you might like to read? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, why would you just sit there and read? It's so boring. And I'm like, it's not boring. So I'm worried about the youth of America.
Drying bed.
So, because my friends apparently,
Don't read?
well, one of my friends at work has completely stopped reading after high school. He's like, you only need to read in high school. I don't want to read anymore. I'm like, wow.
Don't want to read anymore.
I mean, I'm in college, almost done with college, but we wrote a ton of papers for college, and everyone that in my class, whenever I would tell them, they'd ask me how long it took me to write a paper, like a 3-page paper, and I told them I did it in like 3 hours, and then they would have spent like 5-6 days, like 18, 20 hours working on their paper, and they get a C and I get an A, and they get really annoyed and be like, how can you spend that little amount of time on a paper and get such a good grade? And I'm just like, I don't know. But my teachers keep telling me how good my papers are and how good and even my English teacher said, he's like, you put a word, I can't remember what the word was. He's like, there was a word in one of your papers, and I was surprised that you actually used it in the correct context. And he's like, it's the first time I've been teaching this class that anyone's ever used that word correctly.
Wow. That says something about the quality of the students.
I get A's on all my papers, and it doesn't take me that long, but it's not because I hated writing papers in school. Like, papers were like no bueno to me, and
I got pretty
I was
good
afraid.
at it.
I was really like nervous when I started school about whether my papers would be good, and then kept getting A. Even on papers I thought weren't really that
Not really
great.
better than iron.
Even for papers that I thought weren't really that great, and I was like, I rushed it. It's not a good paper. I get an A on it, and I'm like, something weird going on.
Awesome.
And it's just part of it is because I read a lot, read all the time, and it improves your vocabulary and stuff like that.
Indeed it does,
so
Nathan. Indeed it does. You're
I'm
an example to our young viewers.
I've been so I'm excited. I like it, and I love reading. So read books.
Makes you smart.
Because most people I talk to hate reading and don't read, and it makes me sad.
Yes, and once I've written my book, especially read mine.
Oh, I still have to give you. I still want you to read my short stories. I did
Do we have a...
did a creative writing class, and I was the only one in the class that got an A, and he really liked my stories, so I want you to read my story. I wrote a sci-fi story. Most of what I wrote for the class that ended up in my final portfolio is like really dark and depressing stuff.
Yeah, you do that, don't you?
But I enjoy writing in that. Like writing that way because it's not something that everyone does, and it's difficult to get right. Sort of the whole human nature type aspect to it.
Well, like H.P. Lovecraft.
Well, H.P. Lovecraft hated people, so most of his work was like
people are crap.
mostly showing the flaws of human nature.
Yeah.
Making fun.
I love H.P. Lovecraft.
It's all right. I don't It's difficult for me to read something that I have to translate while I'm reading it.
Yeah,
So
the
like I can
1920s
read I can read Poe no problem,
vocabulary is quite different from
but
ours.
Poe's vocabulary that he uses is different than Lovecraft's.
They're from
It's
different times.
yeah,
I only get small
but
piles.
you would think that Poe would be harder to read because it was such a long time before Lovecraft, but
Well,
it's the opposite, I find. Oh well.
I love it. It's good. It's good that we can have these literary discussions.
I think I planted everything
Everything.
except the stuff that plants directly into the water. That's the berries. All these berries got to be planted in the water.
Really?
I think so. I can't plant them on land. It won't let me.
Don't you have to craft them into the actual seeds in your crafting table? Crafting.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
I was right. Yay.
So all the blackberries and blueberries are now with me. Plant all this.
Electrum.
That's
Okay, so
I think I'm gonna have a lot of extra room in this farm.
copper, redstone, electrum, and steel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not doing it in rows either. I'm sort of planning things where they'll go.
Advanced control. I'm coming up in the world, Nathan.
How come this one square always keeps undoing? These two squares just keep undoing themselves, being hoed.
It's time to make the most boring machine in the world. The boring machine.
The boring machine?
Yes, Nathan, I've just made the boring machine.
Made the boring machine?
Okay. So now I need to power it.
I got a lot of room left, so I'm just going to go and collect these herb gardens and see if I can get anything. I think we have all the herbs, though. That's the issue. There's not that many herbs. Spice leaves kind of take up most of that.
So this is for what's for hardness points, 512 newton meters of torque per block.
I don't really want to get into like having to do the stuff that you need to actually grow on the trees. I find that annoying.
Now I need an engine.
You need so much room. And if you look around our house and on these mountains to the sides of us, there's a lot of the different trees are already there.
It's time to build a new fermenter after I accidentally destroyed my old one. Tin.
Right.
Base panels.
We're gonna need to do. Well, see, the problem was last time when we went mining. I think it was like we were like mining a lot in like the Cave Johnson episode.
Cave Johnson.
So, but I could not find the ores in that cave. I couldn't figure out why. I still have no idea why there were no ores in that cave. But anyway, we need a lot of tin and copper.
We now have quite a lot of tin, Nathan, because I have been processing it.
Yeah. Okay. We need. I'm going to be going through so much tin and copper. But if you could leave them as dust, that'd be awesome.
I've only got 3 of these. Now I've been processing it in the grinder.
I'm putting it into. Oh, so what does that make? That makes
I've
dust.
got ingots.
Okay, that's fine. If I make the steam alloy smelter.
I can't make base panels.
If I make the steam alloy smelter, that will give us.
Need to make some. Oh, I got some more steel here. Sweetness.
I'm gonna make 3 of these blocks normal, because if you go off of the side on this hill, you'll just stomp on the crops. So
where'd my steel go?
Only walk on those 3 pieces.
Why is it still there? I took it out.
Plant some more spices.
I took that out of there.
Plant some celery.
This game is trawling me. I'm being trawled, Nathan.
6, and then I will leave the rest of it for your canola. So everything's planted now. The farm is complete.
And then everything will be complete.
We need to upgrade the storage on this food chest, though.